This time on Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions, I want to make this look more factory. So basket case has a push-pull throttle for the 36mm flat slides. As you can see, I've had to put an aftermarket, it was one I got from Makuni, aftermarket twist grip on there with a push-pull cable, and I've had to slide the switch block up the handlebar, and the whole thing just looks a bit meh. So what I've come up with, well actually my mate Richard is very good at doing research, and he's found a really good suitable replacement, and this is it. It is off a KZ1100 74 to 76 Kawasaki. So it's got everything the same, all the functions that the XS11's got. It's got park on off, light switch, obviously the start button, engine run, and importantly it's got push-pull cable functionality. I'm hoping that the twist grip that I've actually got already on there will fit inside this housing. That's my plan. But of course, you know, that's nice and new and looks lovely, and it's got white and yellow lettering on it, and it doesn't match the other side. And I like it, although I'm a bit asymmetric in my personality, I did want to try and bring some symmetry to the handlebars, so I bought the left-hand bar switch as well. And this again has all the same features as the XS11. We've got high-low lights, left-right turn indicators, horn and pass. The only downside is it doesn't have push to cancel on the indicators. It's just return to center, and that's fine. I can live with that. So I've gone through with a multimeter and I've tested all the wiring to see where everything goes, and the only thing that we're going to have to change is that the methodology for the start button is different on the Kawasaki. It delivers power to the solenoid rather than earthing the solenoid. Now, because the XS11 has a safety relay on the negative circuit for neutral switch and for clutch switch, I want to keep that configuration the same. So we're going to have to do a little bit of surgery to make this work, but I think it'll be fine. Alright, as what might be a shock horror to some, I've cut the plug off, stripped the wires back, so now I can see what I'm dealing with here. And what we've got is, we've got obviously power coming in on this cable, and that is providing power to the start button and to the ignition circuit, and then this is coming back out of the when the power's on, it's obviously going to the lighting circuit and the ignition circuit. But because the Yamaha TCI earths your primary, what will happen is it'll latch in. So we need to separate all this and make 7 separate wires instead of 6. This red wire, I'm not 100% sure what that's about. It's joined onto the lighting power, maybe tail lights, I'm not sure. Essentially, if we've got power coming in there, or power coming out of there, if we turn the ignition off, nothing. Turn the ignition back on, power. And the same will be out of here into the black wire for the starter. So that needs to be an earth in, earth out for the start, so I just need to separate and select the right one for that. The other one can be power, well, one lighting power in. I'll put light power in on one of the pink wire to the lighting switch, and the other one, the pink wire, will be power out to the TCI, and these guys will be your either park or headlight. Headlight power in, ignition power out. And separate this. This one here is start button, earth in, earth out. And this one is ignition power in. Easy. So before we go any further, what I've done is I've stripped off the old unit and I've put the twist grip in to make sure that it fits in the housing, and it does. So we'll have the start, run, lights, everything looks good. So that's trial tested, fitted on now. All I've got to do now is sort out some wiring for it. Alright, so I've pulled the XS1100 switch out, and obviously there's two plugs on the XS1100. This is a factory one, this is an aftermarket one that I fitted because the factory one was damaged. This is power in and out for the on-off engine run switch, and this is the start button in and out. And on this one, the lights, this is the power for the lights, and this one is park, and this one is headlights. Not going to matter too, I'll wire them up anyway, but it's not going to matter too much because my park lights come on with the ignition. But we'll get to, what I'll do is I'm just going to, probably to the horror of a lot of people, I'm just going to cut the wires and solder them on to the Kawasaki unit so that I've got the same plugs. Tidy things up a bit here. Okay, very good. So now we have a Kawasaki switch with XS1100 plugs wired into the right wires, so that's ready to go back on the bike. Obviously I'll harness this up with some corrugate as I had before, because I've got extra wires running through that as well. Okay, so fast forward, I've mounted it on, put the cables on, routed them down to the carburetor. So we have our twist grip, put the mirror back on, tidied up an approximate position for brake and for the assembly itself. But before we go too much further and go harnessing all this up in the corrugate, because see I've got these extra wires plus a brake light switch and a few other things to do, we better plug it in and make sure it all works. M-lock key. There's no fuel in this thing, I'm sure it'll run. And there's no power to the switch when it's off. Good. Now, headlight. As I said, my park lights come on with the M-lock, but the headlight switch on and off works. M-lock off. So being reasonably happy now with the right hand side of the bars, let's turn our attention to the left. I'll just unplug this and pull it all out, and we'll get on the bench and have a quick look. Alright, so I took a little bit of time to go through the XS11 and the KZ900 switches, trying to understand the wiring, and basically just got to break it down into groups. On the KZ900, we've got lights, indicators and horn. On the XS11, lights, indicators and horn. There's 2 extra wires in the XS11. One is out to the auto cancelling unit for the flashes, but I don't use that, so I don't need to worry about it. And the other one is a chassis earth, which I am going to worry about because the KZ just earths back through the handlebar, and I think I'd prefer a chassis earth, so I'll just add an earth into it. So we'll have 9 wires instead of 10. I've written down the colours of all the wires. So now all I've got to do is cut both of them up and splice them all together. I'm going to rob the earth wire out of the XS11. It's already got a terminal on it. It's already connected to the plug at the other end. So, fairly easy decision. And there he is. Once again, I'm just going to chop off the Kawasaki plug, so we can see what we're looking at. To add the earth wire in, I'm going to attach him to there. Right, we now have an earth wire connected, and it also gives us a guide for how long our wires are going to need to be. These are the feed in and out for the XS11, so you've got power for the lights, common, that's your horn, that's your indicators, common, that's your earth. So I'll start with that plug. You don't want to have them overlap because it all gets a bit crowded. And right, so that's that plug done. Now we've got to sort the other plug. So we've got these wires here grouped going to one plug, and this one here goes to the other plug. You can use a bit of tape just to keep everything in order. Okay, so just like before, we now have a Kawasaki switch with XS1100 plugs. But before we go and harness it up properly, let's put it on the bike and just make sure it all works. M-lock. Left indicator, working. Right indicator, working. High and low beam, working. Horn, working. Pass, working. So now I just need to unplug it all again, harness it up, tuck it away, put it all back together. Yep, so calling that a success. So new switch blocks left and right, still got all the same function that I had prior, but now I've got a factory looking twist grip with the push-pull throttle. They're Z1 74 to 76. I picked them up, I saw them online, noticed that there was a guy locally in Hobart selling them. They're Japanese reproductions, so they're very good quality. They use JIS screws, and I'm a happy guy. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned, subscribe, like and comment, and we'll be back with more from Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions. Bye for now.